Deception number 3, science has proven evolution and an old earth. And this is where I like to stop and think, what does it mean to prove something? How do we prove something anyways? We get a lot of evidence that backs up our theory or our perspective or our point to prove what we know, to prove what we have. But we still have to have faith that all that evidence is really true. All that evidence is really correct. And it might even still be a small amount of faith, but we still have to have that faith. So how do we even prove anything else? But let's look more at this. What if Christians could give real answers and real science that confirm the truth of the Bible? And I think we can. Let's look at the cell. With the cell, you have scientists all over looking at the cell. And I'd say you could have different scientists looking at the cell in completely different ways. Here in this case, you've got one scientist saying, "Isn't evolution wonderful?" The other one, "What an awesome, powerful creator." That's oftentimes the problem or the challenge with the evolutionary and evolution creation debate and topic is you have different perspectives, different worldviews, as we were talking about, different starting points as we look at the world. And in fact, with geology, biology, astronomy, and anthropology, we've got all these different things, and it all depends on the way we look at these different sciences. If we have red glasses, things will tend to appear more red. Blue glasses, they tend to appear more blue. Yellow-green glasses, they tend to appear more yellow-green. If we think more in terms of evolution, if we look at the world in terms of evolution, that's what we're going to see, is that we're going to see evolution all over. If we think in terms of the Bible, of creation, we're going to see that all over. And I love this quote. It's hilarious. This is from National Geographic. As these archaeologists are studying at the Cahokia Mountains near St. Louis, this one archaeologist, secular archaeologist, says, put 3 archaeologists in a room together and you get 5 opinions. 3 archaeologists in the room and you get 5 opinions. See, that math doesn't seem to make sense, does it? And again, they're looking at the same thing and they're coming away with different perspectives. They can pick out a tool and say, oh, this tool was used to do this. No, it was used to do this or to do this. Science doesn't always give us a true conclusion. And here's another example. These 2 scientists pull this skull out of the ground. It doesn't come stamped made in China. It shouldn't come stamped made in China, otherwise that could be a problem. But it doesn't come stamped 200,000 years old. They have their assumptions that they say, okay, well, we found it in this layer of dirt and rock or this place in the world, and there was these other fossils near it, and so we think it's this old because of this. You see, they're already starting from a backwards point of, okay, it's in this rock layer and that rock layer is probably this old, or these fossils are this old. So that's how they're already figuring out how old this skull is here as well. So there's assumptions there. And in fact, we can look at the Grand Canyon and we can see those 2 scientists might also look at the Grand Canyon and say it's either a lot of water over a little water over a lot of time, or it's a lot of water over a little time. Dumping out that canyon and clearing that out. You can have different perspectives on the what's already there, what evidence you're seeing. And so you can look at geology, biology, astronomy, anthropology in terms of evolution or in terms of the Bible, creation, biblical creation. The struggle is over interpretation. Data, we have the same data, and we think it fits our view better. No, they think it fits their view better. So that's oftentimes one of the huge problems or struggles or controversies with this creation evolution debate. And you can see this bias by asking these simple questions. Who is smarter? I'll take it a step further. Who is smarter? boys or girls? And you can see, I love having kids in the room because they will share their mind about these answers. Who is smarter, boys or girls? And they'll let you know. But you see, this question, and even these next few questions, they're dangerous for the couples in the room here. Who has more fun? You know, boys or girls? I've heard blondes have more fun, or girls just want to have fun. I don't know. Who is more right? Yeah, dangerous questions for couples in the room. But you can easily see the bias that we all come to. You can see the worldview that we're all persuaded by as we come into the room here, as we think about these things. And you can see these with these evidences on the left side of the screen here. The rock layers. Different evidences here. One, the rock layers. Some people say, naturalists, evolutionists will say they were laid down slowly or over long periods of time, whereas the Bible gives us a record that shows how they could be laid down rapidly because of a flood. The Ice Age, that's one evidence where evolutionists, naturalists would say there are many slow cycles over long periods of time, maybe based on cycles of the sun or something. They don't really actually have a good explanation, a good enough explanation for the purpose of ice ages. But the biblical viewpoint with a global flood could produce one ice age, the perfect conditions to be able to produce this ice age, whereas evolutionists struggle to find a good explanation for them. DNA, it's either the building up over long periods of time by mutations and natural selection, but the Bible explains how everything was very good and perfect in the garden, and so it's God's complex design that's now degrading over time. And the origin of life, completely different. It's either random evolution 3 billion years ago or God purposely created. And if we have a good, consistent, confirmed, good eyewitness testimony, written account of how God did that, I think that is a worthy piece of evidence to look at. And again, you can see still the same differing perspectives with the timeline of the earth, of existence, where time is the hero of the plot. Time is the hero over billions of years, and it's just purposeless in everything, whereas God is the hero. And there's themes of sin, but redemption as well. The truth. They might say there is no truth, or it's made up, or it's relative, whereas we know from the Bible, I am the way, the truth, and the life, as Jesus said. Morality. They might say, no, there is no morality, or it's made up, it's relative. But we have the Bible, we have a basis for morality. And in fact, their claims, there is no truth or no morality, they don't make sense ultimately. They have no basis for those. And if they say there is no truth, ask them, are you absolutely true? Are you absolutely sure? Is that entirely true? Absolutely. And it refutes itself. Their claims refute itself. And you see the totally different perspectives with the purpose of life as well, which I think is a challenge in our culture, especially if there is no purpose. I think that's a scary thing in our culture. And why not commit suicide if there is no purpose in life, or just to have fun, to do good, to advance yourself and others, but ultimately it doesn't matter. Whereas I think it does matter. We're created in the image of God, to glorify God, to love others, and to live with God forever. So totally different perspectives, believing evolution or believing creation. And in fact, I've studied, and I'll just show them all, well, not even all of them on the screen here. I've studied a lot of different challenges to evolution, a lot of different topics. I think the creation perspective actually answers these topics better. In fact, I've been trying to write a book about this, and I have one example copy here that you can get for free on the table, where I want to show evolution's view, show creation's view on 2 pages here, and again show, yeah, evolution they can't, with naturalism, they can't explain it as well as we can. And I'm constantly putting those chapters up on our blog as I write them, so you can check them out there. But I think, yes, there is a battle over the same evidence, the same data, by interpreting it differently, but I think the creation perspective does answer the evidence better as well. So the truth there, evidence has to be interpreted, and it better fits with biblical creation.